Sometimes unexpected events in our life shock us to the fullest and have long-lasting effects on our lives. But I must tell you that we should just have to learn to live with it. Here I am with my personal nail-biting story that will surely shock you, and you'll be surprised before you get into the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting and engrossing real couple stories. My name is Frank Smith. I'm 25 years man who is working as a software engineer in a software house when my job started going well and I started earning good money. I thought I should get married soon. I got married to a beautiful girl named Shah who used to live in our neighborhood. I loved her smile and civility. I was really crazy about her sultry eye. Since childhood. We both used to like each other since childhood. I remember we both used to play hide and seek and other games together where I used to safeguard her and consider her while playing after my mother's death. Zia's mother took care of me a lot. A few days after my mother died, my father remarried a beautiful young girl. I did not like my stepmother at all. She did not care about me at all. She spent most of her time at front of mirror and coating my daddy. After my stepmother entrance in our house, my father had changed so much that he had probably forgotten that I was his own son. Then my stepmother gave birth to a girl. And after some time she divorced my father and left her daughter there. When I became 19 years old, I proposed my childhood love, Zia, for the very first time when we both were in college. I remember that day, our chemistry class just had finished and we both were heading towards the canteen. She did not accept my proposal that time as she wanted me to focus on my career and accomplish my goals. But she made sure that day that she loved me too and stood by my side like other boys and girls. These days, we did not have any relationship. It is true that a man can do anything to get his love. I really worked and succeeded in maintaining my love. Although my dad was not happy with our marriage as he wanted me to marry her co-worker's daughter named Zani, who was an IE specialist. My father was really obstinate and angry person. He was really materialistic as he wanted to have a rich daughter-in-law. He told me his decision without even considering my decision, to tell you the truth. I was afraid to even talk to him. But this time it was about my marriage. I took courage and told my dad clearly that how a person could think to marry a random person. So I did not even know about her. Well, but after great argument and calls finally he agreed with me. But after 1 week of my marriage ceremony, he went to Washington to his elder sister's house. I remember very well that on my wedding day, my father did not even congratulate me. He might not be delighted with our marriage. That's why he left both Washington. Now we have 4 people in the house. Me, my wife, my maid and my stepsister. My stepsister did not like me. She spent most of her time outside of the house. I was not really aware of her doubtful activities. I would not ask her any questions because she was ready to fight me all the time. So I would remain silent in her affairs. My father's immense love and affection had made my stepsister very less gives and mischievous. After getting my childhood sweetheart, I felt like the luckiest person in the whole world. My wife used to cook very well and used to feed me with her own hands. Sometimes, even before I got up in the morning, she used to get up before me and was cooking breakfast in the kitchen. In short, she took care of me like a small child. My wife was a very simple woman. She did not wear makeup. I really love the simplicity of my vibe. Her present seemed to make the house truly a paradise. We both often went on weekends and had a lot of fun. There was a good pizza place near to our house where we people used to go every Saturday night for a spicy cheesy pizza. Our physical relationship was also strong as well. It was almost a year since our marriage. In all this period, I had talked to my father only 4 to 5 times. He used to call him so many times, but he did not pick. I felt my father's bad behavior more and more as I grew up. I did not know why my father did not like me. I used to talk to him lovingly to develop some familiar vibes with him, but his result was always rebuffing, which was beyond my understanding. Our old maid's health started to deteriorate. So she decided to quit her job at our house since we knew this lady from childhood and she took care of me like a mother. So I refused her to leave the house and asked her to stay at home. She was very happy with my behavior and patted me and my wife on the head. Lovingly one night, I was doing office work on my laptop when I saw my wife secretly weeping seeing her in this condition. I got worried and hurried to her and asked her why she was crying. My wife replied that my stepsister hates me so much. That's why she insulted her so much. Today, I asked her, "Where have you seen my stepsister?" My wife replied that when she went to buy groceries for the kitchen, she met her stepsister on the way. She insulted me so much that everyone around there at that time began to laugh at me. She also said that she had never been made fun of like this before in her life. After listening to all my vice talk, I got so angry with my stepsister that I decided to complain to my father about my stepsister from my childhood till today. My sister has treated me very badly and has disrespected me a lot. But I'll never tolerate disrespecting my wife while there's no fault of my wife as well. I knew that my wife felt hurt by my stepsister words and I validate her experience. The next morning, I called my father and complained to him about my stepsister's behavior. I am so saddened to hear this behavior that I cannot even describe it. Instead of scolding my stepsister that she should not have been so rude, instead, they scolded me saying that my daughter is very nice. Don't say anything about her. After hearing all this, I took a cold bath in order to fix my mood and took a strong coffee as well. Even while coding, my father's behavior kept coming to my mind and I kept immersed in overthinking. I was thinking about my father's bad behavior towards me. Meanwhile, an office boy came to me and asked me for tea. I simply refused, which I had not done before. Maybe the office boy realized that I was sad. He asked me for the reason of my sadness. I told him about my father's behavior. He smiled and said that it's okay. Most parents are strict like that. When I reached home, my wife asked me about my conversation with my dad. I pretended that I had not listened to her and asked her to go for dinner when Viva about to order food. Meanwhile, my eyes caught on my stepsister who was dating an old man who seemed quite rich as he was wearing luxury stuff. It must be my stepsister's sugar daddy. I really did not consider her and just ignored, even though I did not tell my wife. That night was really memorable because that night, my wife confessed to me a lot about her love for me. We enjoyed and laughed all over the night. I then kissed her and finally we slept. The next morning I went to office so late. Unfortunately, my boss was there in the company. He gazed at me and gave me a warning letter. I was beginning to sweat at that time because at that company, my salary was very good due to it. Our expenses and household system was running very well. Well, now I started working harder than before. And most of the time I used to do coding. My wife was getting irritated from this tremendous work. She often complained to me. But what can I do? I had to make good reputation in front of my boss. I even told her about my warning letter on Saturday. I planned a trip with her that might fix her mood. I believed that traveling together and spending time together gives you a great chance to handle and overcome your stressful situations. When my wife and I reached home laughingly and we opened the door of the house, we were surprised to see my dad here at home sitting on the sofa. I did not understand this sudden arrival, but me and my wife greeted him from his facial expressions and appearance. It seemed that he was angry. I asked him what happened. Is everything okay? Why are you looking so angry? He looked at me angrily and stood up from the couch and said, "Don't you know what condition your younger sister is in right now? If you got free time from your wife's romance, then listen to me that your sister is currently admitted in the hospital because she had an accident." After saying this to me, he angrily went to his room. My wife said to me that we should go to the hospital and must visit my stepsister, while I obeyed my wife and we went to hospital in order to visit my stepsister. But as my stepmother did not like me, so we came back soon. When I reached home and laid down to sleep, I was thinking about everything that happened today. Next morning, when I got ready to go to the office and went out of my room, my father was reading the newspaper. I greeted him, but he did not respond to my greetings. Unfortunately, my car broke down on the way, to which I reached the office very late and my boss saw me. He simply terminated me. I was really worried and upset. I really worked hard for the company. But still they did not even consider my efforts. When I got home and told my wife about my job, I thought she would give me hope and motivation. But instead of this, she started getting angry with me for leaving such a good job. It was the first time I had seen her so angry, and perhaps the first time she had ever spoken to me in such a loud voice. Then my wife asked me that, what if she gets a job and lets help in the household expenses? But I said to her clearly, it's not an idea, because I wanted her to stay at home peacefully. I told her not to worry and left the next morning to look for a job. Then I got a job which was not as good as the first job because salary was really less these days. My wife's behavior was a bit strange. Now, she rarely talks to me and spends most of her time doing housework. She was worried because of my low income. But as I was surprised that my wife's behavior was much better with my father, and my father's behaviors was nice with my wife too. One day, I was really shocked to hear my father praising my wife for her cooking skills. My wife started ignoring my messages and was busy. Most of the times one day when I was fully tired and about to sleep, my wife came to me and whispered in my ears, "A good news that she is pregnant." Literally, I was extremely thrilled and excited as I had been waiting for this good news. I asked her to go for dinner to celebrate this happy, great news. We went to our favorite restaurant and ordered for favorite pizza. She seemed kind of upset. Might be women, hot mood swing during pregnancy. After done with the dinner, my wife asked me to pack some food for my dad as well. So we took some chicken wings and pancakes to him as well. I wanted to see if I'm familiar with my dad's choice. To be honest, I did not know about my dad's choice until I found out once when my mother made pancakes for my dad and breakfast, and he seemed really excited and happy after having them on the way back to house. I gifted her a beautiful friend as well. I kissed her forehead when we reached home. I shocked to see my father desperately waiting for us. He had never did this before. Well, he handed over the food to him. I don't know if he ever ate the food we gave him, because he just put it on the table in front of us and said, "Thank you" to us. I told my mate that you have to take good care of my wife and not let her do any work. Her face expressions was like she wanted to confess something but did not have enough guts to express. Even when I asked her once if she wanted to say something, she refused with aka ignored and went to sleep next morning. When I opened my eyes, I saw a message on my phone that today we will be having dinner from the company. I really did not want to join as I wanted to stay with my wife. But unfortunately, that dinner was compulsory when I opened the closet to find out the clothes. I was surprised to see money laying there. I called my wife and asked her where this money came from for a moment. She was completely silent, and then she told me that one of her friends had come to her with money and asked me to pick it up with me. My wife left the room saying, "Don't worry, my friend will come and take it in the evening." Once I was very tired and was sleeping, when I suddenly opened my eyes and saw that my wife was not present in the bed. I ignored it and thought she must have gone to the bathroom. I slept soundly. But when I opened my eyes again, 3 or 4 hours later, my wife was still not there in the bed. When I got out of bed to find her, I smelled a delicious tea scent. When I went to the kitchen, my wife was making tea for my father and he was watching TV. See this scene in the middle of the night. I was shocked and started asking my wife, "What is the matter?" My wife said that your old father was coughing a lot. So I thought I'd give him a medicine with tea. When I woke up the next morning and went to the office, I kept thinking all the way what happened that night. When I went to the office, I found that a very important visitor was coming to the office today. My phone battery was dead. So I started charging my phone. Meanwhile, my boss came and asked me to go out of the town in order to receive some files from his business partner. Well, it was really a great opportunity for me as I wanted to have a good reputation in front of him. My phone's battery was 5%. I plugged in my phone to the power bank. I took my phone with me and left for my boss's work. I was on the wave and my phone began to ring, but I did not listen to the ringing tone as my phone went silent. But after some time, my eyes caught on my phone. I saw my wife gave me missed calls. I was unable to call her back. So I texted her, "Baby, I'm going out of station but we'll reach late tonight." What happened? I was waiting for her text but she replied after about 5 minutes, "Where are you? Please help me?" I was really surprised and shocked to see my wife message that she had not ever done this before. I was really confused. I did not know what to do. So I decided to move towards my home in a great panic. When I finally reached my house gate, I stepped towards my house hurriedly. When I opened the door, there was no one around. Soon I heard some strange voices. I started following them. It was coming from my dad's room. When I opened the door, I was shocked to see my wife in an inappropriate condition, whereas my dad was convincing her to do so. When my father saw me, he was shocked and angrily sad. "You rude boy, get out of here." My wife started coming towards me and began to cry. She told me how my dad harassed her today and offered me good money in return of an erotic activity. I told my wife to get behind me. I don't trust anyone's words. I then called my maid and asked her, what was the matter? She told me that my wife used to sell cupcakes secretly in order to carry out home expenses with you. She got tired most of the time and the money once you saw on the cupboard was actually her earning. Your dad is not a good person. I even witnessed myself, even though your wife used to consider him as her own father. After listening to all this, I was just about to cry and bend my knee. I yelled and asked my father, why do you hate me since childhood and why you did this to my daughter-in-law like your own, when he told me that he is actually my stepfather, and then he left. I was all shocked and like fish out of water. Although my wife was kind of angry with me as she thought I did not trust her in the beginning. But soon we both hugged and promised to trust each other. Now we are living peaceful and happy life. What would you do if you got the same situation?